Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. I have found a modern day mystic. Yeah, he's plugged into making your life better metaphysically with so many different spiritual products. And it's great to have him back on. Peter Schenk is here. Peter, how you doing?
Doing great, Steve. Thank you. It's good to be back.
Yeah.
So like last time, before I begin an interview or a show, I like to bless water. Anything that's in physical form or non-physical form, energetically, will do anything for you as long as you acknowledge its existence. And since water happens to be the perfect catalyst for an experience, so what I'd like everyone to do quickly, it only takes 30 seconds. Just raise your left hand over that glass of water.
Got a bottle right here. Okay.
Bottled water's fine. In a second, you're going to start to feel that energy run down through your hand into the water. That can come in the form of pinpricklies, straight up lightning bolt, heat. Once that flow starts, put your attention on the water and repeat these 8 sacred words. I honor the space in which you exist.
I honor the space in which you exist.
And what you'll feel is that vibrational frequency increase through your hand into the water. And once that happens, go ahead and taste the water and notice the difference in the taste and the texture and where it's moving in your body energetically.
It's weird. I feel like I'm more aware of the water after doing that. And without a doubt, and I want to not think it, but I feel it, the heat coming off my hand going into the opening of the water.
That's what it's all about. And this is just a goodwill blessing to kind of set the tone and the mood for the interview to ensue. It just puts you in a blissed out place that it, pushes all of your negative thoughts away, and it really allows you to focus and then bring to bear whatever the subject matter is.
Before we get into some of the next generation spiritual products that you have, and they're phenomenal and things that I never even thought of, that and that's probably why you do what you do. How did this all begin for you? How did you go down the metaphysical spiritual road? Where did it start?
So my entire life, I've been very left brain. My background's in computer engineering out of Wentworth in Boston. I worked for one of the world's largest investment banks for 20 years, building systems, programming. And I left that environment in 2015. But about 20 years ago, you have to understand the type of person I was. I was very successful at an early age. And the more successful I became, and I'm strictly speaking in terms of materialistic things, bigger houses, more cars, I was becoming emptier on the inside. And it was bizarre because I always thought, the American dream was, get married, have kids, have a house, and, live happily ever after. But I was screaming for help and I didn't know how to ask for it. And my entire life, I've been kind of intuitively gifted, but never really paid attention to it until literally a moment in the early 2000s where everything shifted in my mental perception of reality. And I mean everything. If you can imagine seeing the whole world in black and white, and a microsecond later, everything is in 3D color. That's how radical my shift was. Now, some people's wake-up experience take a lifetime. Some take years. Some people never wake up. Mine was instant. And literally for about 6 weeks, I thought I had gone insane, completely insane. I was seeing things. I was playing with energy. But the one thing that I knew absolute was I was better becoming this new thing, this new creation, this new person, this new evolved person than I had ever been. So I very quickly learned that it was a calling that I had, some type of experience that I've probably read sometime in the past and I wanted to make good on it. So I had a conversation with the universe and I said, if you want me to do this, you have to give me what I need when I need it, no question asked. And I am not going to look at anything anyone else has ever done. I'm going to carve a rock through our path through solid rock and bring things to the world that basically take a person in a life stuck in fear and move them into a loving world. So in the early years, it was expansive. It was all about learning. Had you asked me what discernment, humility was prior to that experience, I would be like, oh, is that a new vodka or something like that? I had no idea. But my potential to learn, because my heart was open, was infinite, and learn I did. So sometime in 2004, I caught on to the work of Dr. Emoto. He's a brilliant Japanese researcher that proved that if you moved frequency through water, you could physically change the structure of that. So I got to thinking, based on a tool chest of gifts that I was given, that I could extrapolate the intention of anything in existence. And I knew, based on quantum principles, that if you have the ability to imagine everything as energy and energy is all interconnected, that interconnectedness is what science coins the quantum realm. It's a place where your consciousness can exist everywhere or nowhere at the same time. So in theory, where you put your attention, you could set your intention. So anyone back then could write a pretty computer program, right? But the trick was I needed a vehicle to allow someone to select an intention from a computer software program and then allow that intention to be projected into water. But the trick was,
Peter, I just want to jump in. I lost your video. And this happens sometimes. I think it's on your side. Sometimes it's the energy. Like, it's weird.
Okay, hang on. There we go.
There we go. Yeah. Okay.
So pushing the intention was the key. And the key was in front of me all the time. It was basically just evolving your mind to understand that simple principle. So I wrote a little program called First Water, and we pushed it out on the internet. And it was free and had 10 selectable intents. It was really rudimentary. And I took it down after a couple of months, and that's where the real work began. So July 4th, 2007, Aquaware was born. It was a program with, at the time, had 180 selectable intents across 6 categories. And the process was so easy. You select an intention. There's some beautiful graphics that happen. And where you put your attention, you would then modify the water, okay? So the learning curve to get there was rigorous. I had to go through learning trials. So if you look at, in 2006, I was being led to play with gold, physical gold, right? And the idea was to dissolve 1 ounce of gold in what we call aqua regia. And it's a volatile cocktail of acids. It's 3 parts nitric, 1 part hydrochloric acid. And I knew, based on chemistry, that whenever there's a chemical reaction, there's energy being expanded. So I had the thought, well, if I could draw sacred geometry, maybe, just maybe, I could push energy somewhere and get gold back. So after you dissolve this in aqua regia, you have to use sodium borohydrate to reconstitute it as carbon. And this is an intense project, right? I had a lab in my house, and I turned all the copper pipes green from all this acid stuff. I mean, it was insane. And then, you apply matte gas in a crucible to bring it back to gold. So that first and foremost, everything you learn and everything you do is fun. It has to be fun. Right? If it's not, it's work, and I don't want to do work. I want to explore life and enjoy it, but have fun as I'm doing it. So during those early days in those experiments, I learned about something called 0-point technology, where if I could use sacred geometry to punch a hole in the fabric of time and space and move that chemical process through it, I could get gold back. And what I learned about zero point technology was that there is an incredible infinite amount of universes, realities that are at higher octaves that just rage around us all the time, but you can't see them with your 5 human senses or sense them. So the experiments obviously weren't successful, but the learning and the knowledge that I learned was used 9 years later in the creation of a product series that we launched. It utilized zero point technology.
Interesting. I've learned one thing here, that you're not just a mystic, you're a metaphysical scientist. It's like, this is layers deeper than I ever expected. And that's probably why you have the products that you have. But I will tell you this, very relatable in terms of what a lot of us would either like to do or have done, in realizing what we're doing is not what we should be doing. And, you know, in my journey, which my changes have been, you know, pretty recent, last couple of years, whatever, but I had the same epiphany, you know, that you did. Like, I one day, you know, had the house and everything, blah, 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 and I'm mowing the lawn one day and it just dropped out of the sky. And I'm like, I'm done doing this. I don't need to do this anymore. This is, I came, I conquered, I did that. Now I need to do this. Yeah. It's weird.
Yeah, but I didn't leave my professional career until 2015. So I was computer engineer during the day, and I was Neo and Indiana Jones at night, you know, pushing the envelope.
Right.
You know, I treasure hunted for 10 years in the American Southwest, looking for buried Spanish gold. And I could talk days about those adventures. So
Wow.
when you know, life is a choice, Steve. You make a choice. And if you are not happy with something in your life, you have the power to change it. And I don't care what it is. The formula is simple.
Yep.
And when you change it, you shift your reality. You know, I always tell people, your environment mimics what you put out. So if you, for example, if you go to bed at night and you're pissed off, your dreams are going to reflect that. But if you go to bed at night and you're happy, your dreams reflect that. Same thing when you get up in the morning. If you wake up in a bad mood and don't do anything to correct it right there, your environment mimics that, and everybody that you come into contact with. So it's a choice. You can choose to exist in a place that is not, you know, benefiting you, or you can choose to be happy and vibrate. And everything in existence vibrates. And if you're happy, like attracts like.
Yeah, 100% right. And most people don't realize that. And I, you know, reluctantly, but everything's a learning experience. I learned that, I don't want to say too late, but it took me longer to learn that. And it's like when you walk into the gym and you see, you know, some guy, girl walking by and everybody's smiling at them. Hey, how you doing? And you think, well, why are they not smiling at me? Like, what's the deal? The vibration. It's what
exactly.
It's what you're putting out there. Yeah.
I love this example. Have you ever been in a restaurant or a busy place and someone enters into that sphere of energy for a microsecond? Everybody stops and looks at them and then continues what they're doing without skipping a beat.
Sure.
That is a person that has unconditional love of self. It's a vibration that they just push out, and it subconsciously, you just, as a human, you pick up on it. Although mentally, you don't skip a beat from what you're doing. It's a phenomenal thing to experience. Yeah.
But isn't it interesting that you could change that into that, like that?
Yeah.
Now it's a process that you have to continually stay on that path, but like you just said, you can make a choice. And I just want to back that up by something that somebody told me that was so powerful. And this is actually the same person I worked with like 10 years ago on metaphysical stuff, kind of put it behind and then picked it up again in recent years. And he said, never forgot this. I still have the text. Habit doesn't equal happiness.
Exactly.
So you all think, hey, I'm just doing life. It's okay. It's all right. But is it really okay? Are you fulfilled in every way? Are you? Habit doesn't equal happiness.
How many people do you truly think that say, I love you to their spouse, their children, their partner, actually have unconditional love of self? And unless you love yourself, you cannot exuberate that beyond a statement with nothing.
Yep. Yep. You're 100% right. And that takes time to learn.
It does.
It does. Yeah. Yep. And that doesn't happen overnight. That takes time to, to realize that and then act on it. But yeah, and nobody's going to love you more than you. And sometimes we're afraid to even say that because it almost seems like you're self-centered. You feel guilty saying that, but that's the truth.
You're conditioned to think that.
And there's that. Yeah.
Here's another thing. Everything in life is an in and out breath. It's a yin and a yang, right? It's a give and a take and a give. Most people on this planet are conditioned to give. And from early on, they have feelings of doubt, guilt, and they're not worthy to receive. And that cuts the flow off from whatever deity you believe in.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. We went down a rabbit hole here, but it's actually really good.
It happens.
It happens, but it's kind of fundamental. And I think it's important for everybody to realize these things that maybe you didn't see, because I didn't see them until I saw them. And then you realize it. And you're right. Like if you're in a relationship and it doesn't feel right, you can't always take it upon yourself, because just what you said, the other person may not love themselves and they can't do what they should be doing in the relationship. It is what it is. And either you change it or you continue in it, whatever.
Absolutely. 100%.
Yeah. So let's talk about the products. We started last time we got together real quick. It just kind of literally scraped the surface.
So product development, the way I develop products is I get my best ideas in the shower or on the treadmill, because it's a safe place. It's a place of meditation. And when I first wanted to create physical products, what did I do? I Googled it. And the first people to call me back were the lawyers. And they're like, well, you got to get a patent here. You got to get in the European Union and China. You're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars. And I just kind of sat back and took a deep breath. And again, I went to the universe and I said, if you want me to do this, I need help. And instantly the imagery, everything I do is through a data dump where it's imagery. Just because you have a great idea doesn't mean it's going to be a viable product. And the imagery that came was, to build something made from noble metals. So I was thinking, gold and platinum, but I was like, who would spend that amount of money on something like this that was gold or platinum? So then I looked at the properties. Copper, pure copper, has been used since time immemorial to attract negativity. We use it in our pipes. It kills bacteria, viruses, and silver is used in electronic components. And it's great in spiritual technology to create and stabilize a field. So based on the experiments with the gold we were talking about, this was one of the first products I created. And this is called the Harmonic Field Amplifier Plus for home and office. Okay. It's made from the purest copper and silver commercially available. And the first thing you'll notice is a spiral representing 0 point. Okay. Clockwise on one side, counterclockwise on the other. The in and the out breath. You have to give something in order to receive it. So what this product does is once it's activated, it clears your home and your office from all negativity. Okay. But in order to create a second generation of a product like this, I had to go through the learning curve of creating this and it becoming successful and people purchasing it and having all kinds of mind-blowing experiences. So several years later, the second generation was born. And what you'll notice is it's much smaller. Okay. But now we're utilizing 3 0 points in a very unique design with a silver inlay. It doesn't come up and over anymore. It actually surrounds all of them. Okay. So products like this are mathematically perfect. Okay. Everything I do is based on God numbers, and that's a whole nother conversation. But basically, they're numbers that extenuate extreme power. So The HFA Plus is a product line. Years later, I came out with I am products lines, right? So everyone says I am. It feels great to say I am, right? When you invoke the words I am, you are putting all of creation on notice for something. So people usually follow it up with I am love, I am unconditional love of self, I am safe, right? That's great, but there's actually a pyramid, and you need the base layer, which is a mantra that follows it up. So in the product creation, I created the I am pyramid series and then the I am bracelet series. Okay. And everything in existence has a true name. Okay. And a true name can come in the form of a symbol, a spoken tone, a color, a word. In the presence of the I ams, it's a symbol, and the symbol harnesses the power of all that. So as a kid, I loved watching Harry Potter when I grew up. So what did I do? I created a pair of wands based on the I am series. Okay, this is called Vita Navitas. These are hand stamped copper that have different colored jewels at the end that represent certain usage. But what you'll notice is, again, the I ams are stamped on the silver inlays all the way around it. And these harness a tremendous amount of universal power. Okay. So what you're looking at is really the tip of the iceberg of what we've achieved. Remember, there's a whole software suite out there as a SaaS platform, software as a service on a monthly subscription, that allows you to utilize the power of intention to put that into water to bring about change in the body, in the environment, or on the skin. So you're looking at a scope of products from a person that learned to unlimit your thinking, thereby unlimiting your potential long ago.
So with the copper plate going from 1 to 3 different segments, why is that beneficial in terms of the change?
Well, it's more power.
Okay.
Right. So a hard concept for people to grasp is, let's say you buy a car and you hold on to it for 10 years. Conditioning tells us, oh, you want to buy a new one because it's better and better. In terms of product creation, as an individual learn to expand and grow and play in these higher frequencies, right? That energy is transposed all the way back through the product line heritage. So for something like the HFA Plus, the original one that you maybe bought 10 years ago, it's more powerful today than what you bought 10 years ago. The caveat is, as I expand and grow, that my insight into product refinement and the way design should be becomes more pure, more powerful. So in essence, something like the HFA Plus version 2 is infinitely more powerful than the first version. But the first version has built in intensity over the years as well.
So with the FHA Plus, how would you use that?
So these are great. These are really showcase pieces. You basically, once it's activated, you want to just kind of set it up in your home or your office. And what it does is it creates a sphere of energy. Okay. And the sphere of energy vibrates at a certain degree. And nothing can penetrate that sphere that vibrates lower than the product is outputting. So for instance, if you're in a house where there's disharmony, people are in discord, there's arguing, goes away like that. I mean, it's instant. It's not over time. It's instant. Reports have shown, testimonials that have come in, that people that are pack rats, within days, they're cleaning stuff, they're getting rid of it. Disharmonious sections of, and it pushes out. If you're in an apartment building, it pushes out. I mean, it creates a really big field, Steve. It's big. So your neighbors are more friendly and loving. I mean, it's just.
And all you have to do, Peter, is just you put it down on, let's say,
just activate it and it's on. It's game on.
Coffee table. You're gonna put it on a coffee table, and
Here's an example. I got a call from an elderly woman that had purchased the first product, and she had it 3 weeks, and she was hysterical, upset. She's like, "It's bringing up all this stuff," and I said, "All right, let's just backpedal a little bit." When she was born, she was given up for adoption, and she was sold to a well-to-do family. They used her as a prostitute and all this horrible stuff until the age of 21, where she got away. She spent the next 40 years working with professionals to push that energy down and give her a normal life. So 20 years later, she discovers me, and all of a sudden these memories are being repressed. And I said to her, honestly, I forgot her name. The product is working as designed. It is taking the stuff in you and it's pulling it out. It's releasing it. And when it clicked on how the product works, she got it, you know?
Oh, it's almost like it's like sage on steroids.
Yeah.
That's what I think, because I'll sage or Palo Santo, from time to time. Does it work? I think it does. I think I'm doing it right. Everybody has a different take on how you should be doing it.
But part of the recipe in developing these types of products is your conviction to be driven to see it through to completion. You can't be motivated. You can't be passionate. They're temporary. You need to be driven. And when you are driven, you become an unstoppable force to get to that end result. And when the product is born, you wake up in the dream and you look back at the path, and you get this amazing feeling, this smile, and the confidence in creating something that's just beautiful and powerful, and in marketing it, and people are buying it and having mind altering experiences that are betterment of themselves. Hey, it's like you have fun every day, right?
Absolutely. And who wouldn't want to have positive energy around them? When you think about that, it's just why do we have crystals? Why do we, walk around with sage? That type of product that can resonate so much further out. It's just phenomenal. Now, I would imagine the intent has to be there as well. You can't just set it up and say, all right, set it and forget it, that we're good to go.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
The products will work exactly how they say they're going to work. And a lot of people do just set them up, activate them, and forget about them. Some of the changes are subtle. Some are full on experiences. Some happen a little bit more over time. It really depends. You see, the beauty of what I do, Steve, is I don't advertise, right? I allow people to come to me through word of mouth or through happenstances, or maybe like great interviews like this. They hear it, they come to the website, and they are drawn to a product, and they purchase it, and they have a great thing. But what most people don't realize is you are not picking the product. The product is picking you, always.
I'm not saying I disagree with that at all. I'm processing it.
Sure.
That's what I'm doing.
Everything in existence has consciousness to some degree. And, when you look at a product like Vita Navitus, and you feel the energy when you open it up and you feel it ripping through you, how could it not have consciousness? You really think that you're picking this product? Absolutely not. The consciousness behind you is picking you to represent what she is putting out. And it's a soul contract, if you will, at the time and the place for the great work to be done, which is the purchase of a product, an energy session, or whatever.
I firmly believe there are no coincidences. Things happen. They're happening for a reason. People are put together for whatever the reason may be. You might never know. Maybe you have an idea. And same thing with the products. If somebody needs something, they're going to find it somehow. It's going to materialize in front of them.
That can be across the entire board of any product in life, right? I have a lot of opinions on how things work. I never question them. And I don't push those opinions or theories on anyway, because I'm the same way. I listen to people, I take what resonates with me, and I discard the rest.
Yep.
But everything I have built, learned, pushed out into the world has been through my own experience. And those experiences are pure. That's the key. So I know they contain a lot of power, of the light to help shift people ultimately from where they are to where they got to go.
We have a couple of minutes left, but I'm curious, getting inside your head. You must have so many different ideas that you want to execute, and things floating out there.
I have, like I said before, just because you have a good product idea doesn't make it's going to make a viable product.
Right.
I run a business, and the business has to be successful in order for me to create more products. Product development is very expensive, especially now. And I have been very fortunate. I've had 0 products that have not done well. I have product ideas that are being built now. We have the HFA force vector coming, which will be truly the world's first personal vortex generator. And when that comes to market, it will simply blow your mind apart. Every year, products get more powerful, more intricate, more beautiful. And if you look at the space that I play in, it's unlimited. I have a myrrh compass rose that will obliterate all negativity on your land. And we'll save that one for another time. We attack 4 pillars: software, workshops, physical products, and energetic sessions. So I'm flat out and have been for a long time, but I don't get tired. I get more excited about what's around the next corner.
I learned something today, and we have seconds left, but you put it to the universe and you said, all right, universe, you want me to do this? I got to have everything I need to do it when I need to do it. I thought that was so powerful, and I believe in the universe. Whatever it is, whatever you want the universe to be, that's your belief, whether it's spiritual, a God, or whatever it might be.
Confidence is amazing. When you have the fortitude, the forthright to speak to whatever your God is and not be coy about it, but just say, here's the deal. Magic will ensue. High magic will ensue.
We all need to get on that right away. Yeah. I'll be working on that later. The website, moderndaymystic.com. If somebody goes there, if they want to learn more about the products or some of the services that you offer, the metaphysical services, and you do a lot, it's all right there, and free consultation, I would assume.
Yep. Moderndaymystic.com is the nexus or the epicenter of everything we are. You can find everything there.
I see you doing a TV show. I really do. With the name Modern Day Mystic. I'm giving you my vision. If I didn't, I feel guilty if I did not. So I throw that there.
If it's the will of the one, then it's just going to happen.
I firmly believe that. It's whatever's supposed to happen will happen. Yeah, Peter, great talking with you today.
Absolutely, Steve. Thank you.
Yeah. I said it last time. I have the worst memory for things like this. The 8 words we're supposed to say, blessing the water.
I honor the space in which you exist.
I honor the space in which you exist. All right.
Yeah.
I'm on that. All right. Looking forward to getting together soon.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. We'll be right back.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.